Captain's Log 2123.5. A survey team has beamed back to the Enterprise after 2 hours on an M-class planet never explored. The planet has an oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere and is suitable for life. And after a routine visit, the crew has transported back to the Enterprise. Sulu stepped off the transporter and fell to the floor, bracing his midsection with his arms, groaning in pain. "What's the matter, lads?" Scotty asked. Chekhov and the other three red shirts gathered around Sulu to lend aid if they could. "I don't know. I was fine before we transported." "Someone call McCoy and get him or one of the other docs down here now," Scotty yelled. "Is there any way you can stand?" Scotty asked. I don't," was all Sulu could get out before he flipped onto his side and tore in two, revealing an egg the size of a fist that dropped onto the floor and cracked along its bottom. "What is that?" Security Officer Dickerson yelled, pointing to the cracked egg. "Don't worry about that. What happened to Sulu?" Scotty asked, disgusted. I'm still alive," Sulu said, with what breath he had left. Just then, Dr. McCoy entered the transporter room with two medical assistants and almost slipped on the blood on the floor. "Holy crap!" McCoy yelled. "What in the blazes is going on?" "I don't know," Scotty said in his thick Scottish accent. "Sulu transported, fell to the floor and broke open, and this egg fell out of him. He's still alive." McCoy leaned over Sulu and used his medical readout device to assess Sulu and his injuries. With a few whistles and hums, the device gave McCoy a diagnosis. "This makes no sense," McCoy said. "According to the diagnosis, Sulu should be dead, but he's not." "Is there anything you can do for the pain?" Scotty asked. "And can we stop the bleeding?" McCoy pulled his hypo out of his belt and dialed in a prescription. He placed the hypo on Sulu's shoulder and gave him a shot. "That should lower the pain. I can't do anything for the bleeding without getting him to surgery." "But he won't make it," Dickerson yelled. "From what I can see, he shouldn't have made it 5 minutes ago," McCoy replied. "Get a stretcher and get this man to sickbay immediately," McCoy barked to his staff. "Stretcher's already on the way," Nurse Chapel replied. "And a mop. We don't need our staff slipping on the floor." "What about the egg?" Nurse Chapel asked. "Do you want to bring that along as well?" "Of course, we can't just leave it here. I don't know what that is, but it may be the only thing keeping Sulu alive." Back in sickbay, Sulu was placed on an operating table and the egg was placed in an incubator. McCoy and a surgeon named Galen worked on Sulu for 3 hours, sewing him back together and pumping fresh blood into his veins. Before long, Sulu was unconscious, but stable. Captain Kirk and First Officer Spock were present at the end of the operation for a report from McCoy. "What did you find, Bones?" Kirk asked. "He was torn apart like a lion was escaping from a zoo. Finding places to sew was very difficult, but somehow we managed. He has about a yard of sutures in him, holding him together. He'll make it, but we need to get him to a starbase as soon as possible for recovery." "And what of the egg?" Spock asked inquisitively. "I haven't had time to examine the egg," McCoy replied. "I was busy sewing up our navigator." Nurse Chapel stepped over and handed Spock a report. "We ran this while the doctors were busy." "Thank you, Nurse," Spock said, and read the report to himself. "Well?" McCoy asked, annoyed. "The egg contains an alien entity, never before identified," Spock stated as fact. "Where did it come from?" Kirk asked. "Did it come from the planet?" "Our transporters automatically filter out any foreign material that wasn't present upon leaving the ship. I don't see any way the egg could have attached itself on the planet and transport to the Enterprise without being detected," Spock replied. "Then he had it before he left?" Kirk asked. "How in the hell did that happen?" McCoy asked. "Is there something on this ship laying eggs in us that we don't know about?" "It would seem so," Spock replied, flatly. Flatly. That's a weird sounding word, flatly. That is another one of my little plays. Star Trek fan fiction. I've done about 8 of them now. I'm going to do some more. Actually, I got 2 more in the can ready to go. I just need to print them out. Well, proof them, print them, and practice them so I don't sound like an idiot. If you like this, follow the page, subscribe so you can get more of them. These are a blast to do. I really enjoy what I'm doing here. Star Trek fan fiction. I was a little kid when this stuff came out, and I still watch it all the time, and I love the show. So, thanks for watching.